One of the biggest myths in leadership is that the strongest leader is the smartest person in the room. I don't believe that's true. The strongest leaders aren't defined by what they know. They're defined by who they choose to learn from, who they're willing to listen to, and who they've invited to challenge their thinking. Here's a question I want you to think about tonight. Who's sitting at your table? Not the conference room table, your leadership table. The people you call when you need advice. The people who tell you the truth instead of what you want to hear. The people who challenge your thinking, celebrate your successes, and hold you accountable to becoming the leader you're capable of being. Because here's what I've learned throughout my career. No leader succeeds alone. Every successful leader that I have known, and including myself, has a circle of people who make them better. You can call them mentors, peers, coaches, team members, even people they lead. The quality of your leadership is often a reflection of the quality of voices you've invited into your life. Today, we're going to explore how to intentionally build a leadership circle that doesn't simply support you, but elevates you. Because if you want to go farther as a leader, you need people around your table who will help you see beyond what you can see on your own. Welcome to Beyond 2020 Leadership. I'm your host, Tamara Nord. So let's start here. The table that represents your future. I want you to actually visualize it. Your table. Not a piece of furniture, but the people. The ones you call, the ones you text, the ones whose opinions carry weight in your life. Now ask yourself, who's sitting there? And be honest with this one. Are they helping you grow or helping you stay comfortable? If someone looked at your inner circle, would they understand who you're becoming? Because your table is not a reflection of where you are today. It's a preview of where you are going. Every seat sends a signal about your standards, your ambitions, your willingness to be challenged. And if everyone at your table agrees with you, you are not expanding, you're reinforcing. And reinforcement does feel good, but it doesn't stretch you. I've had to check myself on this more than once. There were seasons where I had a supportive table, loyal people, good people, but not enough people who pushed my thinking. And that's a problem because comfort is expensive. It costs you growth. So take a step back and really look at your table, not with judgment, but with clarity. Are these people preparing you for next level, or are they protecting you from it? Because leadership is rarely built alone, but always built intentionally. Transition. Think about that. So once you see your table clearly, the next move is obvious. You have to choose who gets a seat. Invite people who are smarter than you. There's a pressure in leadership that most people don't talk about. It's quiet, but it's real. And that is the pressure to be the smartest person in the room, to have all the answers, to look like you've got it all figured out. And if we're honest, we've all felt that. The moment you focus on being right instead of getting it right, you cap your leadership. And strong leaders don't compete for intelligence. They build it around them. They bring in people who know more, they see differently, think deeper. Not to challenge their authority, but to sharpen their outcomes. Because better thinking leads to better decisions and confidence. Real confidence sounds like this. I don't know. What do you see that I don't? That's not weakness. That's awareness. If everyone at your table thinks like you don't have a team. You have an echo chamber. and echo chamber, they're dangerous. They reinforce blind spots. They create false confidence. Great leaders don't collect agreement, they collect insight. And they don't build tables to feel important, they build tables to be effective. So here's a simple shift that you can take with you. Don't just ask, who do I trust? Ask, who stretches me? Because the people who stretch you are usually the ones who elevate you. But even the right people can create the wrong environment. And that's where a lot of leaders get this wrong. Protect the culture of your table. Who you invite matters, but what you allow, that matters more. You can have smart people, experienced people, high-performing people, but if the culture is off, the table doesn't work. I've seen one person, just one, shift an entire team. One negative voice, one ego, one lack of accountability, and everything changes. Because energy spreads fast, negativity spreads fast, ego spreads even faster, and both will quietly tear down what you have been trying to build. So you have to define what's non-negotiable at your table. Talent is the baseline. Character is the standard. How do people show up? Do they bring humility or need validation? Do they build others up or do they break conversations down? Do they make and own their own mistakes or do they deflect them? Kindness is not weakness. It's controlled strength. And integrity is situational, it's consistent. And positivity, that's not ignoring problems, that's choosing to build instead of tear down. And here's the reality. One toxic voice can outweigh 10 positive ones. So who is protecting your table? That's not optional. That's leadership. Because culture isn't what you say, it's what you tolerate. And this is where it gets personal. Because now we're not just talking about people, we're talking about you. Emotional intelligence creates better tables. You can build a table full of brilliant people, but without emotional intelligence, it will not last. Because leadership is about interactions. It's about how people handle pressure, disagreement, and tension. And that starts with self-awareness. Do you know how to show up when things don't go your way? Self-management. Can you pause before reacting? Can you stay grounded when challenged? Think about social awareness. Can you read the room? Can you sense what's not being said? And relationship management. Can you create a space where people feel safe to be honest, but also responsible in how they show up? Because honesty without respect creates conflict. And respect without honesty, that's going to create stagnation. Great leaders can balance both. And then they shift that question. They stop asking, how can these people help me succeed? And they change that and start asking, how do I create a space where the best thinking shows up? Because when people feel seen, heard, respected, they don't just contribute, they invest. And that's when your table changes. It stops being a meeting and it becomes a force. So now I'm going to bring it back to you. Your table. Picture it again. Who's sitting there? Who challenges you? Who sharpens you? Who holds you accountable? And maybe the harder question, who shouldn't be there anymore? Because changing your table, that's uncomfortable. It's personal. It's very difficult. But leadership requires that because your table isn't about history, it's about direction. And you're not building a table to reflect where you've been. You're building a table to support where you are going and your legacy. It won't just be what you accomplished, it will be who you surrounded yourself with and how they shaped those outcomes. So don't wait, don't hesitate. Choose your seeds carefully, protect it, evolve it, because the most powerful leaders, they're not the ones sitting at the head of the table. They're the ones who build the tables that are worth sitting at.